Welcome to the first edition of the 2024 Tiger Football Report. I'm your host, Spiro Marikas, along with the head coach of the Tigers, Pete Shinnick. And Coach, the first and most important question that has to be asked is, how healthy is the team coming out of training camp?
Yeah, great question. And always this time of year, right? You're always, hoping to be in a great place. I think for the most part, Spiro, we came out of camp fairly healthy. We do have a couple guys banged up that will probably miss some playing time early on, but we feel like everybody who's in that category has an opportunity to come back. And so as we're early in the week right here, still an opportunity for some of those guys to, get healthy by the end of the week for Cincinnati. So it's kind of a wait and see, but we got through fall camp. I loved what we were able to do. I think we were at about 92% of our team available for every practice, so minimal injuries here and there. So like where we're at right now.
The other thing is, this is year two for you and your staff, and you kept your staff totally intact, which you don't see often these days. That also has to help. But how much farther along are you at the start of camp as you were last year?
Yeah, great question. And I think we are much further along. I don't have a percentage on that, or don't have, other than to say all of our coaches have done a fantastic job taking what we learned from a year ago, what our deficiencies were, what our inconsistencies were. And, again, I categorized our team as we were not as consistent as we needed to be on a week-to-week basis. Obviously, we played extremely well, won some really great games, but then lost some games that I feel like we should have been in or had a better opportunity to come out on the better side of the score there. So our coaches really have taken that and said, all right, how do we put these guys in a better spot coming out of fall camp, going into week one, to better understand what we do on offense, what we do on defense, as well as where we are in our culture. So love where we're at right now and excited to see it play out.
Last year, let's say week one going into the Maryland game, what percent of your playbook were you comfortable with, as opposed to this year going into Cincinnati, and how much of your playbook will you be comfortable with?
Yeah, and it's really a week-to-week kind of assessment on that. But I think where we're at is, if we felt like we were at 80% a year ago, going into this, we might feel like we're probably 90%, but of that we know it a whole lot better than we did the 80% a year ago. And so you got to go into a game saying, all right, I feel like we do this well, we do this well, we do this well. Now it's like, all right, we do all that well, but we do it at a much better pace. We do it at a much better understanding and of a higher comprehension of what we're trying to accomplish. So that on both sides of the ball, as well as on special teams. Just second time through. I mean, we're in fall camp and it's like, hey, remember we did this against Monmouth. Hey, remember we did this against William and Mary. Hey, we made this adjustment against Rhode Island. Last year during fall camp, it's like, hey, remember that one time in spring ball that it happened? And they're looking at us like, no, we have no idea what you're talking about, Coach. So that's the carryover, and that's the exciting part about it, is that they actually can build on memories and build on skill sets based on what we've done in the past.
All right, those are easy questions. Who's a quarterback?
Yeah, exactly. We've got two of them that are competing very heavily for it. Carlos Davis and Nathan Kent, I think, have done a fantastic job of really putting us in a great position to lead our offense, run our offense at a very high level. Obviously, we know what Nathan can do, and he did it extremely well last year at times, and then didn't do it as well as we would have liked, and he would be the first one to say that as well. When the season ended, we wanted competition. Carlos Davis, a Baltimore native, Mervo graduate, we're excited to get him in. I think, our fans will be pleased with the decision and the efficiency of what takes place when that guy jogs out there for that first series against Cincinnati.
Well, whoever it is, they're going to have an experienced offensive line, an experienced wide receiver group, and an experienced running back group. Plus, an All-American tight end, which kind of helps.
Yeah, definitely the All-American tight end. That's really good. Every quarterback loves having that guy there. No, you mentioned the offensive line. We got 4 starters back, and we've got a couple guys that have played a lot that will fill in that spot that isn't a starter anymore. We got 3 experienced running backs, all of which I thought at times last year looked very, very good. Our wide receiver group, as you mentioned, getting DK James back after the injury, injured game 3, I think, last year, game 4, adding a Jason Doss in there, transfer from Fresno State, excited about him. We've got Lucas Londano back, we've got Brady back, and we've got some guys that have experience. John Dunmore, who played the last couple games for us, getting him now up to speed with everything. I love that group, and it's really been quarterback friendly to see those guys move around, see those guys play at a high level.
All right, first game, Cincinnati, this Saturday, 2:30, and this is a Bearcat team that loves to run the football, and they run it effectively. Their running back last year, Corey Kiner, he rushed for 1,047 yards, averaged 5.5 yards per carry. What kind of a strain is that going to put on your defense week 1?
Well, it's a heck of a strain because Corey runs as physical as anybody we've seen since I've been here. He has a body lean to him and an explosiveness that is very difficult to get down to the ground. I was really impressed with Maryland's running backs a year ago, and then really was concerned. Corey runs harder than those guys, and he's got 5 returning offensive linemen that run the outside zone as well as anybody I've seen run the outside zone in a lot of years of coaching. So you put those 2 dynamics together, it's going to be a physical game for our entire defense because they do a great job blocking and matching up everything. Our safeties are going to have to fill extremely well to be able to get him down to the ground, and we're going to have to gang tackle him and continue to do it play after play because I think he's special. I think he's dynamic. I think he's going to be on a lot of watch lists here for the NFL.
And then at quarterback, they bring in a transfer from Indiana, threw 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Do you watch Indiana film going into this game?
Most definitely, yeah. And really, you watch what he does, and then they brought in, I think, 47 new players from December till now. And so you start watching all of those guys. They've got some guys in the secondary that you're watching from other schools just to see what they can do. They've got a new defensive coordinator. He was at Iowa State. So you're watching a lot of the Iowa State film.
Which had one of the best defenses in the Big 12.
Phenomenal defense. And what they do is confusing, and what they do really, I think, plays to the strength of some of the guys that they have on defense. So you start looking at all of that. And, it's a lot of film, but you want to get familiar with it. You got to find out who the returners are to see exactly what they're capable of, and then you watch the scheme. But going back to the quarterback, yes, I mean, you study him, see what he does. I think it was a great get for them. I think he's a great fit for this offense. He understands the boot game. He can RPO well. He's very accurate. He'll be, if he's comfortable in that offense, he's going to be a hard guy to stop with Corey running the ball the way I think he's capable of.
Well, hopefully he's not comfortable till week 2.
There you go. That would be the goal.
Gordy Combs and I will have the call for you on Saturday on TowsonTigers.com. So for the head coach of the Tigers, Pete Shinnick, I'm Spiro Marikas. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Tigers Football Report.